Okay, I think we're all set, Frank.
Okay.
I hope.
Hope everything works out, yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta stay right where I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
That's
you're in
fine,
focus.
absolutely. Yeah.
Good. Well, it's good to see you, Frank. Thank you for doing this.
It's a pleasure to do it, and a pleasure to see you again, Eric.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
So, tell me your life story. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born in Schenectady, New York, at Ellis Hospital, and don't remember much up to the age of 3 because that's when we moved out of New York and moved into Millerton, New York, and stayed there for a very short time. And we went to a place called Shagroy Farms and lived there that was in Lakeville, for maybe a year, and then we moved to Falls Village. And I've been in Falls Village for 67 years out of my 70.
Okay, good
So,
for you.
yeah.
Wow.
And I
I was
just loved it, yeah.
You met Ruth up in upstate New York, I presume.
Ruth was born, she lived on Route 22 out of Millerton.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and her family, her father was a farmer, and I coached a girls softball team, and Ruth was one of the participants, and it was kind of funny because she had just gotten out of the hospital. She had an exploratory surgery, and I took one look at her and I said, I wonder why she's playing softball, because she didn't look like she was in very good shape,
Yeah.
And as I got to know her and stuff, things progressed, and we only knew each other for 4 months
Before you got
before
married.
we got married.
Well, it must have been love at first sight.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are some of your memories of your childhood?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just absolutely love Falls Village. I could wake up in the morning and, of course, I had a paper route, do my paper route, and then when I was done with that, I played sports all day.
Really?
Yes, and my parents didn't have enough money to send me to camps and stuff like that, but I always played with the older guys. I was always the youngest guy in the crowd, pretty much. With Dickie and Billy Hines and Ricky Harmon and Terry Glass and Billy Beebe and Tom Snyder. The list goes on and on.
Down at the green.
Down at the green, oh yes.
Yeah.
We used to have that worn right out down there. There used to be quite a few big dirt spots there from us playing.
Yeah.
And we would play football when it was football season. We played baseball when it was baseball season, and basketball when it was basketball season. When I went to Kellogg, my 7th and 8th grade year, we never had a gym. We practiced outside in the carport, and we had baskets on either end. And I tell people with a river running through it. And we'd go out there with our hats and gloves for practice and stuff. We never had a home game, of course. We were always on the road playing our games, but thoroughly enjoyed that part of it. But my mother would always let me do pretty much what I wanted to do, because we policed each other. I always went where there was older kids, and they were always looking after me, and good memories of all those guys.
Yeah.
And I used to know everybody in Falls Village, I claimed, and then now it's changed quite a bit.
Well, you delivered papers.
I
so
did.
You had a chance to meet a lot of people.
I did, for sure.
Was that the Waterbury paper?
It was a Waterbury Republican, absolutely, yeah. Tommy Snyder was delivering it, and when he got old enough so he didn't want to do it anymore, I took it over. That's Tom Snyder on your left, Billy Beebe, and me.
Did you do that on your bicycle?
I did do it on my bicycle.
And you'd have to get up early each morning to do that?
Each morning I did it, and I'll never forget the time the papers didn't come.
Oh,
and I couldn't deliver them till after school. So I'm going around to the different houses, and people were upset with me because they didn't have their papers, but it's just, part of the job, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing ever is going to work perfectly.
right.
So, but I had such good people. I mean, never had to worry about getting paid or anything like that. And I just, Falls Village was full of great people back then. And not that it isn't now, of course, but I just enjoyed the older people a lot when I was growing up. I remember some of the older people, like Ed Dickinson. Always, he was quite a character. A little guy. He was shorter than you were, Eric, and he'd always be fishing, and always came up to the package store and get 2 beers usually a day, and he's always walking. Never,
Really?
as far as I know, I've never seen him drive a car. Yeah, and
Any relationship to Bill Dickinson?
yes. That was his father.
His father.
His father, yeah, and he lived on Warren Turnpike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first house on the left going down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been done over since they lived in it.
Yeah.
But he was a character. Leon Harmon was a good man to me. I mean, we played poker games at night after we played Setback at the firehouse, and of course, being newly married and stuff, and even before that, I never had that much money. And anytime I needed to borrow money, Leon would give it to me, and I'd pay him back, of course. Otherwise, I wasn't going to get it anymore. So he was very good to me. Bob Blass, oh my gosh, so many stories about Bob Blass. But I can remember when Steve was pitching for the Pirates. We'd get in a car because down in the town you couldn't get WKPR or something, whatever it was in Pittsburgh. So we'd go up by the dam where it was higher up and we could get the game and listen to the game up there. Oh yeah.
Do you remember that World Series game?
I do, like it was yesterday. Yeah, when I saw Bob come out on that field, oh my gosh. I think I was crying when I saw that,
Yeah.
Just so happy for him and Steve, The fact that he came from such a small village and he reached the pinnacle of sports, and at the end he had trouble finding the plate, but everything he did up to that point, he was pretty much the best at. The last couple of years he pitched.
Yeah.
He had a great ERA, great winning percentage. He had a winning percentage for his life in baseball for the years that he pitched, and he's just a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I interviewed him a few years ago.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
I saw his lecture at the Historical Society this summer.
Uh-huh.
And after the game, he told a newscaster that he was just amazed that this honor would happen to a skinny guy from Falls Village, Connecticut.
Hernandez in back of the bag. He's got him. Jeffrey Hernandez. Look at Glass. Glass has picked the Pirates to the World Championship. The Pirates, 2 games down, have come back. Steve Blass, who pitched such a great game. Steve, I know you just can't express yourself emotion-wise. You're all wrung out.
I don't know what to say. This is the biggest thrill that could ever happen. I don't believe it. From a skinny kid from Falls Village, Connecticut.
Yeah, well, not so skinny out there. You showed them all there was to show them, Steve.
I guess he was skinny when he was growing up, but he filled out pretty good. And the fact that he had never had a sore arm in his career.
No.
Never had a sore arm. Just, I remember pitching in high school and prep school and college, and I had sore arms. He claims to never had one, which is fantastic. Yeah.
He did have a problem, though, there toward the end.
He did.
Lost his control.
Yeah.
They never could figure out why.
I can't even talk to that other than to say that, you know, he had a wonderful career, and I just,
Yeah.
you know, I said to Steve one time, I said, you don't have to be ashamed of anything.
No.
I mean, you reached the top of your sport,
Yes, you did.
and we'll always remember that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, well, I can remember all the games we used to play, all the baseball games up on the Little League field with the Hines boys and Terry and Tommy and Billy and different people, and we hardly ever made it through a baseball game or any sport without arguing about something, you know. And sometimes, you know, usually the argument would end up, okay, I'm going home, you know. But we'd get back together the next day and do it all over again.
The arguments about the game.
Oh, about the game and who was right about this and who was wrong about this, and
Yeah.
And I can remember I never participated too much in the arguments because I was smaller than most of the other guys, but I always just said, all I want to do is play.
Yeah.
I don't want to argue, I don't want to play.
That's great.
But anything
Well, let me see what I have.
that I accomplished in sports,
Hang on.
I owe to the older people. I had a pretty good high school career in sports. I'm in the high school Hall of Fame down there for sports. Mm-hmm. And
Good for you.
Steve as well.
Yes.
So, he was picked the first year, 1996, and I was picked the second year, 1997.
How were you at scholastics in high school?
Scholastics, not as good as I could have been. I had 2 early concussions when I was small.
Oh,
I was playing, well, a bunch of us, we always did everything in bunches.
yeah.
A bunch of the kids one night were at the Falls Village Green, and Julie Borneman, Dr. Borneman's daughter, was it. You know, when you're playing the game, somebody has to be it, and she's got to touch the tree before you do the goal or whatever. And I was running towards a tree, and she pushed me slightly. It wasn't to be mean, she just didn't want me to get to the tree before her. And I went into that thing head first. And I woke up hours later, and I was on my couch on top of the railroad station. And my mother and father were there, and Doc Borneman was there, and all the kids, there must have been 10, 12, 15 kids, something like that. And I remember Dr. Borneman asking me if I knew any of these kids, and I said, no, I don't.
Oh,
And I missed a month of school
yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
And then I had another concussion after that. My father was in the junk business for a while.
Oh,
And he had this high truck.
yeah.
He was at the package store. And he said to me, get off of that, because I was on top of the truck. And that's the last thing I remember. I fell off, hit my head.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I often thought, you know, that's the reason why when the teachers would ask me a question in class, I was always raising my hand. I knew the answer, but to put it on paper, you know, every time I tested on paper, I mean, I did some things well, but a lot of things I didn't do well. I couldn't equate what I was trying to say to paper, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess that's not the reason I turned to sports. I just love sports.
Yeah.
I just love sports. It's such a big part of my life. I met so many great people. Most of my friends were sportsmen, you know. And my mother was she was good at sports, but never got the chance to play because she was raising 6 kids,
6 kids.
5 girls and me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. She actually is the reason I turned out to be who I am. She never she was just she was a queen. I mean, she was just, I mean, I had to behave. I mean, I didn't get away with murder. I mean, you know, I had to toe the line a little bit, but she never said no to me. I mean, and she always wanted me to do better, you know. I can remember even in when I was going to school, never said, well, you got to get an A here, you got to get a B here, you know. I think maybe because she knew I was having trouble learning because of my concussions, but yeah, she's been a saint. I owe everything to her. I mean, she's just a beautiful lady.
What are some of the lessons that you learned from your mother about life and living?
My mother taught me how to treat people. You know, she always said to me, Frank, growing up, everybody you meet should be a friend. Good if you put all your eggs in one basket and have just one good friend, and you get upset with them or something, then you have nothing to fall back onto, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
make a lot of friends in your life,
Right.
and I certainly did that. And just the love that she had for me and her kids, and her I shouldn't say kids, and her my sisters and everybody she met. There's not one person that could ever say anything bad about my mother, and never would. I mean, she was just that kind of person. Never projected that, you know. Oh, look at me. Just in the way she acted, just in the things she did, and I pretty much copied her, I think, because Dad was a little bit of a rascallion. And, but you know, he was a good man too. But the memories that I have growing up, because I was with my mother most of the time, you know, and you know, just how to treat people generally, just how to treat them, and be kind and generous, and you know, if somebody needs something, make sure they get it. You know,
Right.
so
Sounds like a wonderful woman.
yeah. Ruth always says to me, she always claims that if she wasn't in my life, I wouldn't have a penny, because you'd give it away to people, you know. And I say, well, Ruth, you're probably right. I do have a generous soul, but that's the way I was brought up, and you know, I enjoy helping people and making sure that if somebody needs something bad enough, that I can help them out somehow. Mm-hmm.
Good. Great. Do you have kids?
I had one girl
One girl.
and 2 granddaughters. Yeah, they live in Millerton.
Are they into sports?
They're just starting. One is, I say, is very gifted. She's the older one, Kylie. But she has this phobia about playing in front of people. So I said to her, you know, if we have to find some way to get you over this hurdle, because if not, you're just, you know, you just play the sport for the fun of it, you know. That's what it's gonna, because you have to have a certain attitude when you're trying to win, you know,
Yeah.
as sports. And I don't think that she necessarily wants to do that, but I back her in everything she does, and I don't try and talk her into anything.
Yeah.
And she likes horseback. They both love horseback riding and different things. So they're busy. They're very busy. So, but she's taking on soccer now. So hopefully she enjoys that.
Did you ever do horseback riding?
I rode horseback a couple times, but I didn't have very good luck with it.
Oh.
I had a girlfriend over in Sharon that had horses, and I guess my junior and senior year, and one time the saddle came off on me when I was riding. And another time, I don't know, luckily I was, her horse took off and my horse took off too. And I never practiced on horses or anything. He took off and I saw this limb coming at my head. I said, oh my God. I got down just in time before I hit that limb. And after the saddle came off the horse, I didn't really care about horses anymore.
No. Right.
That was scary.
Right.
Because I fell down pretty hard on that one, but
Right.
yeah. I was lucky. I never broke any bones or anything like that, but
Yeah.
I was, I couldn't, I tell people, when I was in I never missed a day of high school. And that's because of sports. As soon as that bell rang, that last bell, I was in the locker room getting dressed because I wanted to play sports.
Right. Right.
So that's always been my love, besides my wife and my granddaughters and my daughter. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you do after you finished delivering newspapers? Did you get work somewhere else in Falls Village?
I started working at the age of 14, and I worked for a great guy, Jim Nason, up on Sugar Hill, at the very end where the Appalachian Trail comes in.
Yeah.
The last place, he owned the last place and the place down from there. I think he had 200 acres, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And he and I, he as soon as I was old enough, he hired me, and I remember I got, I don't know, it wasn't even $1 an hour. I think it was 75 cents an hour,
You were only 14.
I was only 14, yeah.
What were some of your chores?
Oh, mowing, of course, gardening, I love my flowers. From Ruth Scovern, you know Ruth?
No.
No, okay. I work for her and David one morning a week, and once I quit the state at 56. I was 56 because I had 24 years in. I went to the town of North Canaan and worked there for 6 years, and I've been working for Ruth and David off and on, no winter work, just spring, summer, and fall, working for them, and started out, like a couple days a week, and then this year would probably be my last year. I wanted to work till I was 70, and I made it. So.
What did you do for the state all those years?
I started out as a truck driver. I was a truck driver, and then I took the test to become a crew leader, and I passed the test and became the crew leader up in Norfolk for 5 years, and then the rest of the time I was in Canaan. And I had, at any time, I had 6 or 7 guys under me. In the winter time, probably 10 or 12, and just getting the daily reports ready, giving them their job assignments and stuff like that.
Like road crews and things?
Road crews, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a good singing voice too. I remember hearing you at the Congregational Church one Christmas
Oh, well, thank you very
a
much.
couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Give me oil in my lamp, I pray. Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning. Keep me burning till the break of day. Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King. I sing praise and give thanks for your blessings.
The group of people we have, it's just so much fun to go to practices and sing. I look forward to it every week. Just our one practice. It's great. Yeah, yeah. And being involved with the church is one of my loves too.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people I grew up with are still in the church, so that makes it nice too.
So, what are some of the stories you remember?
Let me see. Stories that I can tell.
You don't have to use names if you don't want to.
No, some of them I definitely wouldn't. But, okay, this story is about where I grew up in the house where Dave Mallison fixed up. The next house up from the depot, going up the hill.
Oh, yeah.
On the right-hand side there,
Beautiful
it's
job.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I lived for, oh gosh, maybe 12 years. And there was apparently a lady killed in that house early on, like back when the railroad was running back in maybe early 1900. I guess she was killed by a lover that he didn't want anybody else to have her. She was married, I guess, and had a son. Turns out the son found her dead in the house. But the reason I bring it up, Eric, is because at night when I was 10, 11 years old, when I was home by myself trying to get to sleep, these noises in that house, I mean, you oh my gosh, it was tough sleeping upstairs. And Ruth, my wife, claims that she saw the ghost, and said it was a man, and she said he was a nice guy with a beard. He was old, didn't look mean or anything like that. And I'm going, wow, I never saw him. I've been here all these years, but I could believe something was happening in that house. Some kind of spirit was going on there,
Wow.
So, yeah. I wonder if the ghost is going to leave because it's been all newly done,
Yeah.
It probably won't have the creaks and stuff that it did.
Right.
And another story I have with the train, this guy in the caboose, older gentleman, he every Sunday us kids would be out there and he'd throw us candy every Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, and he did it for I don't know, a couple years anyway, and then it just stopped. And I assume he retired because he was an older person, but I really would have liked to have met him and thanked him for that, because us kids looked so forward to him coming by, and but I never did get to meet him.
The train would go by that overpass
Yeah,
near there,
yeah.
and he was in the caboose.
He was in the caboose. Well, I lived right there, in the depot on top.
Oh,
So when I was a kid, my bed was right up against a window, and the train passenger at that time would come through, and I thought it was the neatest thing to look down and see all the people on the train.
sure.
They'd be getting off or getting on,
Yeah.
And yeah, my father, Judy Jacobs told me this, and I didn't know it. My father leased that apartment for $1 in 1959.
Wow.
Yeah, can you believe that?
Yeah, I
Unbelievable.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, for $1 we got to live there. My mother and father had a cow and a bull, and they were named after them, Beatrice and Lester. And us kids would feed those cows every day up there on Sand Road. And because that house in the back used to be a barn, we kept them in there. And one day a guy comes along, and we didn't know what he was there for. He brought a trailer with him, and mom says to us, they're taking Beatrice and Lester away.
Oh,
We sold the cows, and we got crying.
oh, sure.
We loved those cows.
Yeah.
And the guy, I can remember, he gave each of us 50 cents, to help us get over it,
Wow.
And but
Yeah.
no, how we cried when those cows left. Yeah,
Wow.
they were part of the family,
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
a couple of the other things I'd like to mention, Eric, is
Yeah.
I used to raise worms, you know, for fishing.
Really?
When I was a young kid, I used to go out every night and get night crawlers. And we, you know, we go to the hot spots in town. Of course, a lot of the kids did it because they wanted to go fishing, but I actually sold mine. I had a little business going on. But, you know, in some of the cases you had to be careful that you weren't seen, you know. get your night crawlers and get off the lawn before somebody caught you, you know. Those were usually the hot spots, and you couldn't blame the people for that, you know. But
Right.
so that's one business I had, which was a lot of fun. And I can remember the chestnut trees in town. We used to, us kids would go and pick the chestnuts and take them out of their shells and collect them, you know, and we'd throw them at trees or whatever, you know. That's how we built up our arms, I guess, for baseball and stuff. But that was a fun activity.
Was there a lot of chestnut trees? Because I know this area had a lot of chestnut trees.
Yeah, there's down where the downtown nearby, right across from well, actually right next door to the Redmonds Hall. They have two chestnut trees there. And did you ever hear of Catherine Smith?
No.
Oh, okay. She lives from Toy Makers, going back towards the library. She lived a couple houses down, and there's a chestnut tree there now. It's been cut off, but it used to be huge.
Yeah.
And we get chestnut trees there. And up at Grassy Hill there was a chestnut tree, and I remember the day I was up there picking chestnuts and I started to sink in this grave. You know, it was very soft. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I couldn't get out of there quick enough. I ran home. And the guy who was with me ran too. And we said, oh my God. We called them cadappers back then, you know. Cadappers, don't let the cadappers get you.
Right.
And oh yeah, I remember that. Ooh, that was scary.
Yeah.
But my father used to dig graves up there.
Really?
By hand, yeah. For Art Stein. And Dick Hines is the head of the association now, I believe. The Cemetery Association. But
Yeah.
back then they were hand dug, you know. So, yeah, Dad did that for a while.
Okay, Frank.
I appreciate
It's been really nice.
Yes, I appreciate meeting you more. I've always seen you from, you know, afar, but never got to meet you, so.
Yeah, it's
I'm
my
happy.
pleasure.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Frank.
You bet. You bet.
Okay.